Welcome and welcome back to the Light Renegades. My name is Starr. Thank you for joining me today, everyone. To those that might be new, we are the Light Renegades. We are a collective of Pleiadian beings, bringing you information from the veils that are truly non-existent at this time. We are bringing information to light with regards to the negative reptilian order and its influence on planet Earth and all of its inhabitants at this present given time. But today is a double load of messages, so I would perhaps suggest going back and watching the channeling that I've just posted from the Angelic Council, which is titled False Light, because I feel like these two energies come in tandem towards each other. And I think that this is a space where we're really going to have to be clear and conscious of our own well-being at this time, because we are breaking down pretty strong layers of consciousness at this time, and I want everyone to feel as safe and as held and as supported as possible. So please do reach out to us, Light Renegades. Please do reach out to your teams of light when consuming these messages, and those that are coming, everyone. This feels like a very long chapter in a book that I feel like I've put on a shelf for some time, because I think somewhere it just felt too overwhelming to understand that I was going to be bringing these messages forward, and I think that I've been having to work with my own layers of consciousness to be able to bring this forth as well. But today's channeling from Lucifer, it feels like a riddle somewhere, everyone. I was trying to read this back to self, and I channeled the two messages back to back, one from the Angelic Council, and I channeled half a message from Lucifer, and it was really late, and my eyes were just completely ever closing, and I was told to just put it down for the next day, and then I wrote the next half. But somewhere I feel like there is layers of understanding that we are having to get to in the present given time, and I'm ever being expanded in my spaces and truly understanding what darkness means, what Luciferian energy means, and what that means for us going forward. And I will say it's a space that I know and I felt it before, but it is a space that feels foreign, and I want to say that it feels the most foreign because it's the most free. And I know that that is going to rattle and ruffle some bones and feathers somewhere, but this be a space that we are getting to that is ultimate sovereignty and freedom. And I think somewhere that feels incredibly overwhelming. And we like to be told what to do as human beings. We like to be, for our hands to be held, and we're coming into a space where we're holding our own hands, and granted, teams of light are here to support us, but it is going to be through us seeding out a new layer of consciousness within self and truly stepping forward to what we want to experience in our life in this next chapter that truly molds our fragment of understanding. And I want everyone to allow that for that to be their truth. You are seeding your own consciousness so that you can be guiding your own life. And granted, we're all going to go through these collective understandings together, but somewhere we still get to have the fun, the drama, the dreaming, the laughter, the joy, and the pain in there somewhere, and that being a well-rounded experience that we have while still expanding on this massive leg of expanding consciousness and seeding a new light in these 1,000 years, everyone. So please hold this message in heart today, but hold it in a space of excitement and questions for what is potentially to come and what is potentially available to you. This is a time to be excited about the next chapter. And granted, we know a lot of systems are fallen, but we still get to have our life of light in there somewhere. And I think that's some bits that we're getting stuck on. I myself was getting stuck on this path. I was brought to all this space of darkness. I've been being told that I wasn't going to be looking at it at all. And I just hit a brick wall, and somewhere I definitely shut down. And the layers that I'm being brought to in my understanding aren't new, but I'm just ready to embody them at a deeper capacity. So know that some messages that are being brought forward, you've already had this before. There are so many things that are being brought forward to me now that I remember Lucifer said to me a real long time ago. Teams of light to me whispered in my ear as a child a very long time ago, and I heard it and I said yes. And I continue to walk my path. And now I'm being brought to those layers of understanding. There are timelines opening up that are parallel to this. I know have been seeding a new layer of consciousness for me here, but it has been incredibly confusing, incredibly chaotic to say the least. And I'm ever more immersed into a life that doesn't feel like reality, yet it's the ultimate truth. And all space and time is ever expanding where we find ourselves. And I'm having even more beings step forward and want to be making themselves known to me. And it's been a very I don't want to say overwhelming, but I think just an energy that is all consuming. So please go easy and, take breaks when you need to with all of this. Step away from collective consciousness. And I shared this in the Blue Lotus ceremony, cut cords with the collective consciousness and come into a space of peace. I felt like I wasn't able to do that at some points in my journey. I felt like I wasn't able to ask that at some points in my journey. But when I asked for that, there was a layer of peace that washes over me. We are here to help others in their expanse too. We are all working through a lot of this negative reptilian energy in our own physical vessel to help seed humanity a new light. So cut that cord sometimes and just be in a space of peace. But a couple of nights ago, channeling from Lucifer was titled, "It Is I." And he started with, "Dear souls, thank you for witnessing me in the here and now. I wish to explain and expand on how my presence here can help humanity. If we understand that the NRs, the negative reptilians, have taken on some of my understandings and pushed it into a space where all must bow down to me or fear me. In seeking my light and not bowing down to me or being afraid of me, we are co-creating a space where fear holds no weight and the light can truly prevail. You are seeding a path of acceptance. You are ready to show up and say, I am here, this is I, take me as I come. I too have told you of this notion time and time again. The next leg of this journey is about choice. You get to decide how you progress, at what pace, and to what end. Today's message be an understanding of taking ownership for one's own hands and stating, I am ready to be a true soul's expression in safety, in knowing that I am always protected and guided by the highest of lights and understanding. Myself as Lucifer was never here to cause ultimate harm to those whom cannot escape of their own free will. I've been playing a role time after time. Let this now be the same time you set yourself up as you are Let this now be the time you set yourself up for the best life that this world has to offer you. I'm here to hold you in any times of need. Let this be a space where my energy aligns with yours and brings you into a space of peace. I'm here as a shadow keeper. I'm here as a being that is now ready to be of service to all. My energies had to be something else in other understandings, but where we find ourselves now, I'm ready and I'm at your mercy. I'm here to be of service to you. If I be an energy you wish to connect with, by me being here, we are closing down frequencies, the negative reptilians' influence that have had hijacked my understandings, molded it to be a path for self and siphon energies from others. This is not how my energy is received in truth. I'm merely a keeper. I'm merely an expression of all that is possible. And I'm going to come back to that understanding at the end because I think there is a lot that is going on within Lucifer's energy and different timelines and understandings as well. But I'm going to carry on. For so many, I've been a fatherly figure. For so many, I have been a place of peace, a space in a world of such confusion. Especially to those that could sense truth, yet not fully understand their place. I was there to catch them, to hold them, to guide them. I was the only understanding that made sense to some. Those that didn't believe in a single God, those that didn't fit into the guidelines and of strict doctrine. I was a place of acceptance, of freedom, expression, or lust, of power, of self-empowerment. I am not evil. I am not the light. I'm something else entirely. If you ask to see me, I shall make myself known to you. I'm going to repeat that. Those that didn't believe in a single God, those that didn't fit in the guidelines of strict doctrine, I was a place of acceptance, of freedom, of expression, or lust, of power, of self-empowerment. I am not evil. I am not the light. I'm something else entirely. If you ask to see me, I shall make myself known to you. If you ask to see me, I shall make myself known to you. I hope that by me being here, we can create a new layer of understanding together, one in which we can all exist. We are all as one after all. Even the negative reptilians, they are a part of you, an expression of source somewhere. Allow for this to be a space you accept deeper in knowing. Seek not revenge, smite, or fear, only acceptance of acceptance and showing compassion. In other understandings, they know not what they do. Some do, but do they truly? If a being cannot see the light, is it their fault? Something to question, dear souls. All here are doing what they assume to be best. We know that this seems a confusing concept, but even beings of a higher nature have pathways to walk upon and lead. Remember this when traversing all time and space. I have so much to share with you, yet I know I cannot rush where we find ourselves now, one step at a time, one puzzle at a time. I hear many laugh as true, you are in mortal spaces at all times. Some of you feel this so deeply, I congratulate you for all that you are. So many here, so powerful, so full of love, it is a consuming energy for myself. I hold you in rapture, in love, in pleasure, and your darkest pain. Keep shining, bright souls. Keep holding the light and walking in shadow to those which it aligns. You know whom you are. I'm here to hold you when you need me. You will know me when it is time. All that I am in truth. And he signed off as Lucifer. And I think that I'm fully coming to my space of understanding that Lucifer really was a place of peace for me somewhere, and specifically in times of such darkness for me. And I think, being a teenager coming up through Catholic schooling, I was very confused about, my emotions, what I was feeling, what I was sensing at that time. There's a whole harem of things that go alongside all of that. But I wasn't accepted in the spaces that were being brought forward to me in strict doctrine. I was questioning my sexuality somewhere, and I wasn't accepted in that. So I think at some point I felt like, I must be part of the other if I'm not part of this team. And that's what religion and strict doctrine does. It creates two separate sides, two polar opposite sides, but doesn't leave room for us to, be in both spaces. And I think that we all have to be completely honest with ourselves, and especially those that, are perhaps stepping into a space of feeling and fearing Lucifer's energy, that I think that we've all been coming from such a very small and fragmented layer of consciousness that we now have to be ready to just accept all as truth. And this idea of that, the negative reptilian energy is our own energy somewhere too. It is all an expression of source. And I know that may feel like a concept too large to accept. And I want to bring in this understanding of those that perhaps have been, felt like they've been under the thumb and influence of satanic ritual and Luciferian energy in a space of that has been incredibly challenging to you. I know that this understanding is going to, take some work at being open to it, because it's coming from a different space of consciousness. And granted, there might have been some connections to Luciferian energy in that space that you, have received such terrible understandings and afflictions upon your own physical vessel, and I'm so sorry that you've been in that space, but you are here to set yourself free and say that I'm ready to receive an expression of all that is possible in spaces of light and in darkness, and bringing my own shadow into the light to be healed in that space. And I know that Lucifer is wanting to step forward and to help those that have been in his energy somewhere, but also connected to this negative reptilian force, and that be a space that the energies can be melded together and to be healed in the present time. And I know that these concepts are so big, and it's difficult to hold on to what feels in heart to be truth. But I think the more that we press forward with these messages, the more that I feel like your heart is going to soften to Lucifer's energy, and you can witness my evolution within his energy as well, everyone. And you can go and start the Darkness series, because I was very much questioning the whole reason why he had shown up, and it was very much feeling like a very taboo space for me to be in with him. And now I've come to a space where I just feel in my heart he is such a protector for me, and coming back to understandings of where he has held my hand. And the other day he walked me into my city town center. He held my hand all of the way, and it was a really precious moment that I had with them. I always say him, but I guess them in that space, they are an energy, and I just thought, wow, like I've really hit a new layer of everything. And I laughed to myself because I felt like such a child in that space. And I thought, somewhere my inner child was safe to be there. So let that be your guiding compass too. I would often let my inner child into a space, and that be my compass of, if I felt safe in that space. And sometimes our ego takes over and we fear that which we don't understand and that which we have been told to fear. And it's a negative reptilian influence that has made us fear the darkness, the shadow, and this negative this negative aspect of Luciferian energy. But somewhere there is such light in the darkness. Somewhere there is such power and growth. And, I gain a lot of my power and strength from my darkness, that I have been forged by the fire in the darkness. I promise you all. And, I've been really having to access my light within that space. But I know that if I didn't have my darkness and my fight and my fire, then, I wouldn't have been able to reach those spaces of light either. And this is, then spanning into the macrocosm of light and dark, the polarities, and living in the in-between and allowing for both spaces to be all spaces that we traverse. We are gaining ever expanding understandings of consciousness, and we are trying to be the light and the dark at the exact same time, and that be our truth, because that is the truth, everyone. We are not denying the light. We are not denying the shadow. We are not denying the shadow. We are not denying the light. We're bringing them both together and saying, this is who we are. This is who I am. Take me as I am. And I think that a lot of us run from this darker energy because it feels like the taboo. It feels like those energies that we are told we shouldn't be expressing, And I very much had to work through a lot of shame and guilt connected to what I perceive to be my shadow and my darkness on this path. And Lucifer is very much here to hold you in that space and to create a container of safety for you to express yourself in that space. So remember that too. We are seeking new spaces of safety, and that space might potentially be in the dark and in the shadow for some of you. And some of you have been completely denying your shadow. I've been made aware of this, and I was there too for a time. But now I run, skip and jump at my shadow, and I know I'm ever stepping forward into a space of completely accepting in these darker energies, this legion of darkness somewhere. And it's a whole new realm for me to traverse. Although I do know some space as well, I think for it to be brought into my physical reality, into my 3D existence somewhere, it's still quite a jarring experience. So remember that too, everyone. And I think when you're first starting to tap into shadow, it can feel incredibly dissociative somewhere, because it's an energy that we perhaps haven't been perceiving outside of self. These darker aspects live in the depths of us, and we push them down, pretend that they don't exist. So when they are there, it can feel harrowing. So take some deep breaths and just accept whatever is in front of you and say, I'm here to accept you. And if you are fearing anything, ask it what it is, because it has to tell you whom it is. If it's something from a space of darkness that is there for, a negative aspect, it has to tell you who it is and say, I accept you here in this space, but I do not wish for you to be here in my light if you are not feeling comfortable in that space. And ask for your teams of light to help you in that, everyone, because, there are some quite extreme understandings being brought forth at this time, and some of you are going to be tested. Some of you will be witnessing your shadow in very extreme spaces of being in your physical reality. I caught a glimpse of myself in a parallel space, and she was frightening. I didn't know what it was at first, and it took me by surprise. It took my breath away, and then slowly but surely I came to the understanding. I was like, oh no, like that was me in another space and another time, and my mind was completely blown, but at the same time it made the most amount of sense to me for where I find myself right now, traversing all space and time. I've been witnessing myself in my shadow time and time again, but now is the time to embody that shadow so that we can ever step forward into a deeper space of consciousness in the light without this negative reptilian influence. That's why we're all here. That's why we've all come together, so that we can just be controlling our own space and finding our own sovereignty. But I think that's all that I should share today. I have so much to share on this aspect, everyone, and I feel quite strongly about this spaces because it's been my life path, and there is so much that I've experienced that I feel like is going to be of wealth to some that have perhaps been on a similar path to I, but also to those that are afraid of their shadow, that are afraid to step towards this energy of Lucifer, because there is so much wealth that can be gained in a space of fear and working through that fear and just accepting all that is. Anything is possible. Anything that could possibly ever exist is possible. And to me, that's exciting. To me, I've always felt that to be my truth. I just didn't understand this life that I was being shown. I was like, this just isn't it. There is other things out there, and I've called in a lot of things in my time, and that's gotten me into some tricky situations, but at the same time I've learned and I've grown so much, and I'm incredibly proud that I just continue to step forward and say yes to this path. And you all should be incredibly proud of yourselves too. So don't turn back now. Stop, take a break, take a gap, take some time to process. That's what we all have to do, but don't wish to turn back around, because there is no room for that anymore, I want to say. But also, you are ready. If you are here, you are ready, and it is time, everyone. It's going to be a slow process. We're going to take this in baby steps. We're going to take this step by step together, but we are ready for this new layer of expression of consciousness, and it's time to see it now. So if you feel like calling upon Lucifer and just to be understanding his energy, call him in, see how his energy feels, play with that, and call him in the highest of light at all times. It's all about intention, especially if you're feeling fearful of these spaces. Calling your teams of light to be with you in any space of darkness at all times, because it's important that you feel safe. But I know that there is a layer of unsafety that comes with all of this, and we have to break through that barrier and to witness our fear and say, I'm afraid, but I'm going to continue to witness this, whatever is happening, because fear is an aspect of this negative reptilian order, and they use it and they wield it so well. We are not going to be fooled again by those spaces. We're going to say we are ready to experience it all. Thank the NRs for being here. Thank them for being an expression, so that we can expand deeper into our own consciousness of light, but also say that I'm ready to just face it all. So remember that. Please have a beautiful weekend, everyone, to those that are watching in real time. Please do reach out to us if you feel the calling to be working with any of us, if you feel the calling to be in a space of Lucifer. I've channeled Lucifer for some that have had questions about him. I feel like this is going to be part of my practice moving forward, part of my work moving forward, as bridging that gap between the light and the dark, and bringing Lucifer forward in a space of light to those that had a real strong understanding of him in pure darkness, and perhaps that being the only space that they know him. It's now time for everyone to witness him in a new space of consciousness, and that be the truth. But I think that's all for today. I'm still in the midst of a lot of energy, and I dare say I'm going to have a lot to share after this weekend. I feel like something is coming, everyone, that I've not been quite able to put my finger on. So yeah, watch this space. I'll now be back real soon, but please do take care. Do take care of your physical vessel, your mental mind, your psyche, everything that is available to you now. Use it at your disposal to make you feel as safe and as held as possible. But no, it's through the fear, it's through facing our shadow that we truly set ourselves free. But that's all that I've got for you today with Lucifer. Please do take care, and I'll be back real soon.